podcast for the OWASP Top 10 for Large Language Model Applications. If you'd like to stay up to date with our project, please click subscribe. And if you enjoy the content or have any questions, please feel free to comment and share. Now, on to our meeting.
Well, hey, while we're waiting to get started, I'm looking at this list and I think we've got a few first-time joiners. It's not mandatory, but anybody who's first time, if you want to just introduce yourself really quickly, go for it.
Yeah, I'd love to. Hi, I'm Erica Lincoln. I work at NVIDIA, which is fine, but I'm also the chair of the CVE AI Working Group and the CWE AI Working Group, which are two distinct working groups for some reason. And, you know, OWASP LLM Top 10 has come up a couple of times in those conversations, so I figured it was prudent for me to try and involve myself a little bit over here, at least have some awareness of what's going on, since the initiatives, especially on the CWE side, are pretty well aligned.
Great, welcome.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And hello, my name is Sonu Kumar. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Okay, yeah, first time. And actually, I came to learn of these OWASP LLM AI groups just in January, where I initially joined the LLM Red team with Krishna, and then I'm slowly making my way through these other groups as I learn about them. And my background is web app pen tester and mobile, specifically Android pen tester. AI hobbyist to begin with, but of course now it's in my blood, so I'm pursuing that adversarial AI and just diving in head first. So thanks for posting about this meeting and alerting me to it. Sorry I'm not on camera. I'm doing a grocery store run. I just happened to see it pop up in my notification and wanted to join today.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes, hi. My name is Majid Nafiri. I'm a product security architect. I've been doing security in everything from low-level semiconductor of hardware, firmware, all the way to application security. I'm in transition, last from Western Digital and many other related companies. I'm also consulting for some friends and colleagues with their own smaller companies, and there is a lot of AI ML ops security questions that are coming up about what do I do if I bring a model from Hugging Face, or what do I do if I do this or if I do that. So yeah, you could say I'm a hobbyist, but I think given that now I have an extra time for learning, I want to see how I can contribute and help out, and also up my knowledge in this area.
Great. Anybody else? All right, let's go ahead and hop in. So, hey, I think we just did welcome newcomers. I don't think we have Scott on today. I think Scott is on a well-deserved vacation, so I'll do my best impression of... Oh, no, Scott is here. Welcome back, Scott.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm back for a couple of days anyway, then off again. So, yep. So real quick roadmap updates, couple of things that are coming up. So we've got the exploit generations coming out of the CTI team with Brian and with Rachel, and so that's going to be rolling out tomorrow. And so there were a couple of updates they did to that, which were great, to add DeepSeek comparison as part of that. So that I think will get some interesting traction. It's a really good comparison on exploit generation. So I would recommend folks pick it up, read it, check it out. We're also going to start our Agentic AI security solutions survey. So some people may be aware of this. I know I put it out to the channel, both in terms of the top 10 list and also the core team. We're going to be doing as part of the update where you see on the right, which is the quarterly solutions guide update. We are going to be doing an accompanying survey to focus on understanding how people are picking up deploying solutions related to LLM and generative AI security. We have a lot of solutions out there, so it'd be good to get a feeling for how organizations are actually employing these, where their maturity sits. And so there's an opportunity to add some more questions as well. So I still have taking in questions and topics up until the 4th of next week. So feel free to toss in your ideas. You'll find you should be able to find the ask either in the LLM Top 10 or in the core team core team channel. I'll also repost it later today so people can find it easier. And then lastly, we've got coming up the top 10 for LLM, the solutions guide. A couple key things we're updating there also on the database side, which we'll add filters for red teaming and agentic AI so that the solutions are there. They can be mapped to that. And we'll also be adding new cheat sheets for that as well. So that's what we have on the roadmap coming up.
Cool. Scott, I'll mention this. As you and I are both in the midst of trying to streamline this, and I don't see either Telesh or Tetsuo here, but
Yes.
I think we are also planning to try and get out up to 7 different translations of the core top 10 list in the next week or so. Those seem to be about done, and we're working through just some of the final drama and getting PDFs packaged up.
Yep. Yeah, and so we'll have those, and I'm waiting just for a little bit more so we can figure out what the actual schedule will be for those. But yes, so over the next few weeks, we'll roll around. We want to make sure people have time to absorb them, so we'll probably roll them out in a couple of different groups as we go out. So, but yeah, we're at 7 translations is really awesome. The team has been doing a great job cranking away. And I think we'll also have a little bit insight into roadmap in terms of what's next on that team as well. So yeah, Telesh and company that's been doing a great job. So all you've been contributing to the localization, thank you. Everybody's going to really appreciate your hard work.
Right. So moving on. All right, Scott, this is still you.
Yep, I figured I'd just put them together. That way I can get myself out of the way. So this is just a call right now. We are looking for volunteers in a couple of specific areas in the outreach group. One is to help us kind of take on newsletter and social media to help both give us a little bit more bandwidth. Aubrey's doing a great job in terms of our social media and getting a lot of the video stuff together. We want to give him a little bit of help as well. And we have Krishna, who has been leading our newsletter, who has moved over to kind of lead the red teaming area and has been focused on that. So we're also looking for someone to come do that. Also, we have another area. We're starting to do more events, and you'll see more about that coming up. We obviously have RSA coming up. There is a virtual event that we're working on. And I'll have more details on that, as well as some other partner events that we're finalizing for the remainder of the year. So it would be really great. We're looking for someone to kind of help us coordinate that. Now, one of the feedback we've gotten around volunteer roles was understanding what the commitment was and what we're really looking for. So we've gone kind of the next level on that this time. So where we have these specific needs and roles, just like you look at any kind of job board, we've identified what the time commitments would be, what the type of things the individuals would be doing. So have a look. If you know folks who'd be interested, please send them that way. They can take a look at the details around what the responsibilities and contribution could be, and help us out, help us find some volunteers.
All right.
Okay. Here's translations.
Yes, we did get this dropped in from Telesh, but yeah, this covers some of what it looks like. Telesh is listing 5 currently that he has lined up. I was talking to Tetsuo last night, who runs sort of the PDF generation piece, and I think I unblocked a few things for him, so he was feeling good about getting those produced pretty quickly. So we will figure out the rollout schedule for that. But I think it's awesome when you look at the list of languages here. This, outside of English, which we already have, covers a very large portion of the rest of the planet, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and based on the timing we're looking on this, we can roll this into, as I mentioned before, we're looking at a March PR announcement, sort of our quarterly roll-up. And so we'll be able to roll this into that as well, which will help us get the word out even further, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we only ever got 3 officially done for the 1.1 version of the list before we moved on to 2.0, and that announcement was incredibly popular. There was actually really large uptake on that, so looking forward to this. This one is from Krishna. I believe he dropped in. He wasn't going to make it today unless he did. Nope. Um, oh, but looks like Sandy, you're tagged on some of this, so you want to talk to it?
Yes. So, and it's in my slide that if you refresh your slides, it's at the end. So, what we're doing is really taking the red teaming and using the LLM checklist, which is now converting into the Compass so that you can start using it to as you build out a strategy, what should you test? Where should you test? Where are your risks? So we're using it as an opportunity to show how you tie the different solutions from our LLM top 10, how they complement and coordinate, work together.
All
Yeah.
right.
And I can speak to the on hold there. So I know Krishna's not on here, but I have heard back from CSA. So I've been kind of working on getting them engaged. They sent me some of their updated documentation. So we should be able to unstick that pretty quickly.
So Scott, which channel you get into it? Because I'm actually represent CSA for OWASP.
Oh, sorry.
I
This
think
is
maybe
this is different CSA. This
Oh,
is
I see.
Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I know the acronym is a bit confusing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the guys in the government agency in Singapore who does cybersecurity for the
Oh, I see.
the
Yeah.
country.
Otherwise, I think I can push this. Yeah. But
Yeah.
okay. Cool.
Yeah, they just had to go through their process of clearance to be able to share their stuff. So it's just taken a little bit longer than they would have liked, but they're actively ready to go. So
All right. I don't think we have John on, but the net of this is the reception on the first version of the ASI document has been tremendous. Just between the post from the official group handle, which is really taken off in terms of readership lately, and my post, between those two, there's about 1,000 engagements or more on that, 100 plus reposts, 100,000 views, just awesome. So this one really hit at the right time, and the feedback I've seen so far has been really strong. Anybody else here who's been involved with this want to add any notes about the project?
I haven't, but I think I posted on the Slack channel something that could be added into the threats and mitigations of the AI agents on the impersonation of humans bypassing robots validations.
Cool.
that's great. Yeah, and I'm doing another poll. So we're, again, as you said, the channel has really been expanding in terms of our regular channels, in terms of readership, which is great. And I'll be pulling another set of data from that today. But looking at it yesterday, it just seems to continue. This is a topic that is resonating with folks. I'm also getting a lot of interest for what we're doing at RSA around this topic. So that will be an area of conversation as well.
Yep. I think this one, it got to build on all the previous work, but this one probably got way more initial readership than even the original top 10 list. So it's really taken off. It's exciting to see. So everybody, even if you're watching this later on YouTube, fantastic work on the team on getting this pulled together and getting something out that has been really well received. So great job. And I do think, I know I've talked to John that he's planning on doing a 1.1 version of this where we can take in some of the things like Fabian mentions and figure out how to continue to expand this with all the feedback and frankly, just all the R&D that's going on here. I think this is the point where everybody's really just learning about how these things work. So we're going to learn a tremendous amount.
Yeah, I think he's got a good solid roadmap of the team has got a good solid roadmap of additional assets that are set to roll out that I think will really flesh things out for folks.
Yeah, and I think this is the roadmap here a little bit, and you can see version 1.1, some sample apps, lots of good stuff coming from this team. So I think with the recent releases between the big success of the red teaming guide, big success of the agent guide, really on a roll.
And has his hand up.
Ken?
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah. So I'm heavily involved with John and Long and the team. So yeah, it's certainly great feedback from LinkedIn and lots of good comments back as well. Yeah, look at the current roadmap. Is There's three, I think, at least a concurrent stream on this. One is led by Long. It's on the insecure coding for the framework. If you're using Crew AI AutoGen, so they are doing this. It's on the homepage of OWASP for our LLM. So everyone can contribute. So it's the red box here, like sample vulnerable apps. And I will actually work with the detailed threat models just on the top there. So everyone welcome to join. We will use a layered approach for threat modeling and mostly focus on the multiple agent system because this is potentially the majority of the work for the agent. So most AI application will be agentic AI applications, and most agentic AI applications could potentially be multiple agents. So we have to threat model it. Then there's another concurrent task is the basically the landscape. Yeah, the agentic security landscape. So at least through parallel process, people are very busy. Welcome everyone to join. It's really really interesting work. So.
Fantastic.
And my comment, so I joined the meeting on Monday, and part of the discussion was around, what's the definition of an agent? What's the definition of a workflow? So this is probably the first project that I will target to do an update to our definitions page.
Good stuff. Yeah, I've found that the most challenging in talking to people about this topic over the past month or two is everybody, you turn on CNBC, the financial news, and people are talking about AI agents, just nobody knows what one is. And I think we're lacking some really basic shared terminology for this, and agents right now are anything from chat bots to multi-agent swarms of robots. And how do you get down to the core of what it is? That's a bit of a challenge. So Sandy, I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with for that.
Yeah. No, and again, it's why I love what we've been able to do because it's the reason that we have these people on the new people on the phone call today, which is we really have become the first stop when people are trying to understand this stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sandy, I'll share you over my one slider that I made on what's an agent in case it's helpful for you. I've been shopping that around lately, and people
Okay.
seem
Yeah, so Sandy, I think the majority of business use case will be agentic workflow. So I think it certainly is beneficial to define what is workflow in the agentic AI domain, right?
Okay. Yeah, no, and of course, I expect, just like with all of our discussions, I expect healthy debate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's lots of good
It's very
feedback
easy
into
to
what
envision.
agents are and the architectures that they're representing. And in some cases, it's just kind of converting. Some people are just converting things like RPA over to agentic, workflows and just
Yeah.
calling it a day, which isn't necessarily the right thing. So I think there's a huge opportunity.
And we've got big companies like Salesforce basically taking the agent name, slapping it on things and saying it's business process
Agent
stuff.
force. Yeah.
Yes,
New merchandising name, like when
but
everybody called the Uber off. Now
but,
is
but we know this is going to get much weirder. I mean, I was listening to a podcast this morning on the drive into work, and somebody has set up a Minecraft server, populated it with 1,000 AI agents, and they've developed laws and religion, and it's the world's going to get weird with agents. So
Just one thing
you
to add.
should send me that postcast. Would be nice to hear it.
I'll see if I can find the post. I will post it in the main channel. I'll see if I can dig it up.
Yeah,
Thanks.
That makes
Ron
you feel better.
Ron on Monday mentioned collaborating with MIT because they just released their MIT framework. So both Ron and John said they will be interested in reaching out to MIT. I'll just post the link to what MIT published on Agentic AI.
Or
their Agentic
index,
AI
right?
course.
Yeah.
Is this Agentic AI index document you're talking about?
Yes, this is the one Ron referenced on Monday.
Yeah, it's in the
This
chat
is a
there.
very good document. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What is this one attached to?
This is the Agentic work group.
Okay. Anybody who's part of that group want to talk to this one?
Oh yeah, I think I kind of talk about this already. Like a code sample is really led by Long and Peter team. They trying to say you can have some insecure code showcase the threat, right? And uh, yeah, so the idea is potentially have the agentic Hall of Fame in ISK conference. And a threat modeling guide, that's what I will be leading using the Maestro framework because of the traditional framework for threat modeling. If you look at the Strata, the Pasta, this is more like a static. Cannot really deal with the non-deterministic and the dynamic nature of the agentic threat. So we have this, it's published by Cloud Security Alliance, but it's called the Maestro framework. So we are, based on this, trying to work on the threat modeling based on the 1.0 document that we already published. And then the securing agent apps. This is originally was in the master document that we developed, trying to put it in. The master document become too big. So potentially, we think it could be next release. So this is the new guide that focuses on the agentic architecture for secure agentic apps, right? So it's basically gives a guide. So keep in mind, in the 1.0 version, we do have some mitigation in terms of the patterns, but we did not have the time or actually not the time, but the document, right? It's already too big, so we're trying to make it sure that it's appropriate size. So this is, I think, it's already in the loader map, so it's really good there. And then the landscape, that's the Evergreen is leading, and we have a weekly meeting. The last meeting was yesterday. So we are continue to do some research, and basically the landscape is talking about the regulatory regulation side of it, and also the technical side of it, and also talking about the security framework that potentially we can leverage. And I think Scott already also make the comments that we do have some of the LLM or Gen AI security kind of tools, solutions landscape that we can also reference. But this document focuses more on the agentic AI. I think that's about it.
Okay. let's see. This looks like this is probably the last of the agent slide. So anybody want to talk to this one?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did not put this. So I think John put it. I thought it's already done. So I think this is the QR code you can
Okay.
scan for the survey, and cheat sheet for threat mitigation will be created. A work stream kickoff. Yeah, we have multiple work streams that in the previous slide, right? And then, so the NIST actually reached out to me to see if we can talk about the kind of agentic AI security. So
Great.
there is potential that we can talk about. It's near where I live, so it's easier for me to go to there. And John, also in the UK, a National Cyber Agency workshop. So yeah, and the call to code is really for the work that already in the OWASP repo. That's for the insecure code. There's an example, like if you're using Clue AI, you can using some insecure code or configuration. So that is kind of really geared towards the developers. So it will be a lot of fun if you can join this as well.
Great. All right. We have anybody? I don't think Rachel or Brian could make it today. Anybody want to chime in on this piece?
I think I commented on it just briefly earlier. And then they're working obviously on their next meeting, which is going to be, the next level guide. So
Yeah.
that's the first phase. So the one that gets published tomorrow is actually phase 1 or part 1 of a 2-part. And so they'll be working on the remainder. So if there's folks who want to join and work on the part 2,
Hey,
jump in.
Scott, given that we got new people here, you want to just say what this CTI layer project is?
Yeah, so I can say what this is. Sure, absolutely. So the CTI layer project is really our threat intelligence project, looking at specifically cyber threat intelligence as it relates to LLM and generative AI. So they're doing a combination of research, first-party research. So we originally started out working with University of Illinois. We've then funded other projects to do analysis. The team has published guidance based on that for deepfake guides in the past. They're working on providing incident guidance on how to both prepare and respond for incidents, and conducting that first-party research. So that's really what the team is working on to fill the gap where today we lack in many areas that first-party research. So if you're interested in digging in deep, this is a group to go dig in deep with.
Yeah. I find we rarely spell out that this is threat intelligence, so it's just a collection of 5 letters, and so it's always good to mention that.
Yeah, it's threat intelligence on the website.
Yeah.
I think
We like our acronyms.
Eric has hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a point of clarification on that. Is that threat intelligence of threat actor groups targeting generative AI systems, or is that threat intelligence around the use of generative AI systems by threat actor groups?
Both. There's work streams around both areas.
Okay. That tracks.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Sandy update.
Yep, I reloaded you, so go ahead.
Nice.
So the 2 things that I'm working on are the definitions. So we to fill the new people in, we had a list of definitions that were just basically ones that we created at the very first of the project as we were trying to figure it out. We had probably 30 different definitions, but they weren't official. They weren't standardized on anything. And so I went through and tried to find standard definitions on, what is this? What is the official way to define this? I was successful in some of it I wasn't. I came up with the system. I'm happy to share those slides for people who are interested in this project. After I did that, I went through and did an open voting for 2 weeks, asking for feedback, asking people to comment and either agree or disagree on these updated definitions. Received some minor feedback, but for the most part, it was all approved. So that was stream one, which was let's update the definitions that we have and make sure that they're official. And then stream two is ongoing. And the purpose behind this is if you look at any of our documentation, we spend a lot of time explaining and defining things. And the hope is really twofold. One, to give people a glossary where they can go find a standard definition, and two, to reduce the size of our documentation and just let people go and say, for official, for the definition, please see the definitions page. So I did an open review for comment for 2 weeks. I sent it to our core team for 1 week. There hasn't been a lot of feedback, so I'm going to assume that, with no violent disagreement, that's agreement. And so I will go through and get those updates to Scott. And I'm able to update our wiki page. I guess I can update the Gen AI page too, but I'd be more comfortable if Scott kind of did a first pass on it. So, and then stream two, and this is where I really need active engagement from everybody, is if there's a definition that the community would benefit if we had some sort of label, like redefine it for people. And I think agent is a good example of this, where we as a group say this is how we're defining what an agent is, what qualifies as an agent, and this is what qualifies as an agent workflow. We'll update that to the definitions page, but this applies for CTI. It applies for any place that we're using words to help people understand what's going on. And so the outcome is this single source where people can go and as they're trying to understand, everything around AI security, they can go see, okay, this is what this means. This is what a vector is. This is what a weight is. This is, so that they can have some place that they is less confusing. Because, I can tell you, when I took this on, I had no idea how complicated it would be to actually come up with the definitions. I thought I could just throw it into an LLM. Now, the irony in me trying to ask a word model to define words didn't occur to me until I was trying to do it. So any questions on the definitions or how to get involved with that?
Yeah, that's great, Sandy. And I'll help you, certainly. We'll help you on making sure that we make sure we do a pass on it before we go to the web, et cetera. So, but this is great. This will also help us reduce the redundancy we find in some of our documents where we're having to do definitions over and over again, and we can then reference this as our canonical reference for definitions.
Yeah, that was really the purpose. And I mean, it sounds crazy, but it really is, if I think everyone on this call is as fascinated with LLMs as I am, but it really does come down to words, what do they mean and how do we use them? So, and it helps people a lot because, if you're all agreeing on what a term means, then communication becomes much easier. Mm-hmm. So, the second update is on the compass, and Scott is going to be so happy that I'm actually putting energy behind this. And yes, I have RSA is my urgent, to get this out and have it defined. So again, for the new people on the call, go ahead.
Yeah, we may have you talking a little bit about this at RSA, so that'd be good.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. So for a little bit of background, I first joined the project. I'm a CISO, was always looking at it from the CISO lens. And when ChatGPT first came out, I was like, what do I need to be worried about? How do I advise my business? What should I be running up to the top of our board and our management team? And I really couldn't find the resources I needed to define a strategy and understand the benefits and risks of using LLMs within the organization. Like how do I actually build out a strategy? So I went to Steve and said, Steve, I have this idea, I want to create this document that helps people build out a strategy. And it was really the first sub project within our project. And as you can see, that's cascaded into a lot of other additional resources. And so it's about a year and a half old from well, I guess for the official publication, it's just over a year. And there were some drafts that went out and things, and it's been translated into a number of different languages. And I knew, Scott and Steve and I, we knew that there was a refresh. But as I reviewed it and talked with John and talked with other people like Ken and core people in our team, it was like, well, the basics of it still, it still was a good framework. But I had an idea to convert it into something that makes it actionable, and I'm calling that Compass. And what it is essentially is a Google spreadsheet that uses a point system to define risk and likelihood, and be able to go through and quantify a strategy. What do you need to be worried about? How do you test for it? What kind of threat intelligence? Where do you find incidents? What should you be watching and taking care of? And so that's I taught a class in December where I created the first draft of it. And so the official version that I would like to publish through OWASP, I'm calling Compass. And tons of work left to do on it, but I have a strategy around that and the urgency to get it done for RSA. So these are the two channels that apply to both of the projects that I lead. And if you'd like to contribute or be part of it, I'd love the help. I'll start posting a little bit more in those now that I'm back from vacation, where I totally disconnected, and now I'm trying to get caught up.
All right. So with that, I will take down the slides and I'll open the floor to anybody else who has general business that they would like to raise for the team.
And yeah, I'm going to add something on one of the Sandisk groups. I believe this is inherit basically on gosh, sorry, I'm having trouble with my English, with the etymology of the base of the words. I do have a colleague that is a really good etymologist in English and in Spanish as well, because I think I could give a hand on the Spanish way, because for every American or English word, we have like 6 or 7. So that could change for my community the outcome of how we receive the information. Like
That is so interesting,
agent,
Fabian.
we have 6 words, and each one has a different element of definition. So maybe I can try to persuade him to join in, or maybe I will be the bridge to try to collect that information, or how to bring it into the team.
Well, you raise a very interesting point with translation, which is we don't really do translation for our main site. So I have posted kind of the strategy around it, like what my purpose or my goal was to use some sort of NIST, use an official standard as the definition, because when I went out to look for definitions, there was a lot of vendors who had glossary pages. But to me, that's some of them were very good, but I still wasn't completely comfortable with it. So yeah, have them. I love the help. Wazwa, you had I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, just a comment. So this is to Steve and to Scott. So we have Eric representing MITRE, and one of the things I just want to know is whether we could do something like how MITRE does the common weakness enumeration marketing to the OWASP top 10. I wonder if we could do something similar for the top 10 LLM, whether you guys can collaborate with MITRE to come up with something like that. I think that would be beneficial to the security
Okay.
people in general?
So I mean, I connected with Christina Lagati at who leads the Atlas MITRE very early because, for me, again, as a CISO, my biggest fear originally was that people were going to try and create a different way to do things than a traditional security like sticks or threat information sharing. I was like, no, we have the CWE. It's not perfect, but let's keep that. So definitely have them get in touch. I mean, MITRE is really, I'm using Atlas and MITRE that as a standard because again, we have a system for threat information, vulnerability, all of that kind of thing existing in traditional security. And for one of my soapbox items is AI is part of it in it. You cannot isolate AI security from the rest of your security. It's part of an ecosystem and it all has to be considered. So have them reach out to me or Waswa, like however we want to do that.
Yeah, and let me also
Okay.
highlight too, because I think we sometimes don't highlight it as well. It's related to this, which is the work that Emmanuel has been doing to do mappings to the top 10. And I think we probably need to do a little bit more highlighting of that. So I think it'd be great if we could collaborate on a definition, but I think there's also some mappings that we have that folks may not be aware of. I talk to folks and they keep asking me about mapping, so it tells me that we're not doing good enough job promoting the mappings that we currently have. So yeah, I think I just wanted to bring that up because I think that's another part of this picture.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Since you brought that up as well, just I think next phases for the data gathering team is just to try to expand what we lay the foundation there. It's always a work in progress. There's nothing like everything finished, everything changes so quickly.
Yep.
And also work towards bringing synergy to the different initiatives working together and also with the other organizations. I think this is quite challenging because it's complex. Everyone wants to be first and everyone wants to have their word out and be leading charge into what's going on out there. But I think our group is doing a great job, and I just want to commend and thank everyone. Use the opportunity to thank everyone for the contributions, and I'm just looking forward to also hop in and on your wagon, Sandy, and also see where I can help out. I'm happy to do that, and let's go team.
Emmanuel. Yeah, thank you, Scott. Yeah, Emmanuel and I are all collaborators, so I'll definitely ping him offline. And Madid, okay.
Majid, sorry, this is probably a very, very basic question for you guys. This is a very interesting meeting, and I'm very impressed how interactive it is. I was thinking sort of apologies, not showered, got in the meeting and just expected that I would be just listening, but I'm really glad it's so interactive. Apologize for my how I look. But I'm interested in several things.
Me too.
I never ever dialed into a meeting not showered. This is the first, but I guess Mars is the first as well.
Yeah.
So threat modeling guide and the work that they're doing with Maestro. Yeah, and also several other things, the generative AI security solution. I was wondering how I could get involved and contribute. I have a bit of time and I want to sort of do it and sort of more of a, not so much as a spare time thing, but I have some time right now. So how do I connect with you guys, or how do I get into any of these streams? I apologize, this is probably a really obvious question for you.
No, it's not an obvious question at all. I mean, we often get the question, especially people who are coming in new. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's like, how do I plug in? And we're particularly easy in a way to plug in, which is starting with our Slack channel. So if you get involved, if you're already on the OWASP Slack channel, then you just simply need to look at the specific the specific channels that you're interested in engaging in. So we have different channels. Just hop on the channel, start working on it. If you're
Okay.
looking for what the name of the channels are, if you don't have those, we also have that published on our main website under roadmap. So you can see
I see.
you can see the different channels that are related to each of the different initiatives that are running or major projects. And so you can reference those and just hop in.
Yeah.
So it's kind of very informal in that regard. So there's no vetting process you have to go through. Just come on in and say, hey, I'm interested in helping. Look at the channel that you want to jump into, jump in there, share where your interests are. And then I'm sure people will pick and leverage your expertise as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and I dropped in the chat just the top level how do I contribute page from the site. It's a good
Perfect.
place to just orient yourself.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so particular that's the autonomous agent channel that you we were talking about threat modeling. So one
Yeah.
team.
Okay.
Yeah. But just as a guide, right? Once you get on the OWASP Slack, which is open, you don't even have to be an OWASP member, although I encourage it. It's like $50. Team-LLM, and then pretty much everything's going to be right there. Pick your channel.
Okay.
Want to be in the agent one, team-LLM-autonomous agents. You want to do red teaming, team-LLM-red teaming. It's
Okay.
called
Translation.
from there.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
I shared my profile on there. Just hit me up on Slack. I like took a screenshot. Like I'm going to track you down. Like I need your help.
I will shower if that's what you
Okay. Well, see, you don't have to tell people you didn't shower. That's the benefit of being online.
I just feel
Yeah.
so bad because
How to
it's like,
expose
I'm
yourself.
just gonna go to see what this is about, and then it's a very interactive meeting. But I'm really glad I did. Thank you so much.
Okay.
The good news is we post these to the internet, so everybody in the world will know that you did not shower.
There you go.
Yeah, this
File
is
for your
this is
YouTube
recording.
audience.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Anybody else got a last one? All right, well, I'll just close. Again, I remain tremendously enthusiastic about the work this group is doing. It felt like last year there was so much going on, but boy, in the last 2 months, this has just kicked into overdrive where it feels like we're releasing some major new piece of documentation that's being chatted about on the internet. We're doing it every few weeks, and you can see from the roadmaps here that we have a lot more stuff coming. Scott talked last time, so he didn't repeat himself, but we're in the process of getting the group promoted to be a flagship project at OWASP. We're going to rename the umbrella organization so that the top 10 list really just becomes one of the deliverables of this group because there's so much going on. So stay tuned for more on that as we work through the pieces to get that done. But it's just indicative of all the hard work everybody's doing really paying off and being recognized out there in the community. So thanks to everybody. We'll see you next time.
Oh, wait. Russell had his hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, just emphasizing that, I was just in LA. Steve was speaking last week at ISSA, which is great. A whole new team of people that hear about us. I was just, an hour ago on a call with Varonis, with the leading data management company. And their phrase is AI is data, data is Varonis.
Yeah.
And they opened up by saying, hey, the OWASP top 10, you got to look at this stuff for LLMs. This is what AI is all about. And their slides are all based on that and what their products are. So this is a multi-billion-dollar international data management solution that's using, I would say us, but you as a reference to this stuff. So that's exciting. That's great stuff. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, team.
Thank
See
you.
next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks for checking out our bi-weekly meeting podcast. If you'd like to stay up to date on all the latest news for the OWASP Top 10 for large language model applications, please click subscribe. And of course, we'd appreciate it if you'd share with a friend to grow our community. We'll see you in 2 weeks.